Am I the asshole for letting my daughter be hungry and not ordering for her at a fast food place?
My daughter is 15 and she has social anxiety.
She is in counseling for it and not meds, not needed.
The rule in our household is that if you want fast food when we are out, you pay for it with your own money. If you don't have McDonald's money, you aren't going there.
I also don't allow eating in the car, so we stop at places to eat. We had to go out and do some errands. I told her to grab something to eat beforehand, but she said she wasn't hungry. We go on our errands and halfway through she wants to stop by Wendy's. I pull in and tell her to go order. I will get a seat. She comes back a few minutes later and tells me she can't order. She doesn't want to talk to the cashier at the front of the store. I told her she needs to order and we will head out. She asked me to order and I told her no. We sit for about 10 minutes when I tell her it's time to go. She in short is pissed and my wife is also upset I didn't order for her. Then I let her go hungry. I find this stupid. I didn't starve her for days. It was 4-hour outing. Am I the asshole?
Edit. For those asking, yes, her counselor has told us she needs to start doing this stuff on her own. This was low risk.
She literally gave the example of ordering food without our help. I also ran through a script with her at the table but she wouldn't do it. Edit. Not the asshole. You were on the right side of helping versus enabling, and helping versus doing it for her. In the 10 minutes you sat there, did you do anything to try to help her? Not order for her, but try rehearsing a script, talking through the process, or offering to go up with her. She can always eat at home, so she's not going to starve. You went over the order ahead of time, good. She likes to eat out. So in order to do that, she needs to be able to order it herself. It's a great motivation tool.
If she'll get the food anyway, why bother?
My son has autism, he is anxious and non-verbal. But we go over his order, what he has to say, etc. He'll try his best because food is a huge motivator for him. If I did it for him all the time, he would figure this out and not even try. Would your daughter feel better if you were up at the counter with her?
After your edits, I'm gonna say nah.
She's 15. She does need to learn how to order stuff on her own. I don't know if this was the case, but maybe try with a less crowded restaurant or something so that she doesn't feel like everyone is staring at her. Or maybe go up to the counter with her but she has to do all the speaking, but just knowing you're there with her might help as a start. I get you were trying to help and do what the therapist said, but you need to start slower.
Not the asshole. The first time I had to call and order a pizza was the worst day of my life. It is the easiest thing in the world to do, but I was terrified.
My mom sat down with me, wrote out a script that included my own friggin' name and phone number, plus the order and her card number.
She stayed with me the whole time, and when I was done with the call I felt like $1,000,000.
That was hands down the best pizza night we had. I am so happy my mom made me do stuff like this.
She had me start ordering at restaurants and even made me answer the phone to tell telemarketers, we don't want any. These are very important soft skills.
You are definitely doing the right thing by allowing your daughter space and opportunity to be uncomfortable.
Not the asshole. It sounds like this is what the therapist advised you to do, and it honestly is the closest to what you will have to live with once she moves out as an adult.
She won't always have the option of asking mom or dad or a friend to speak for her, and that means sometimes she might not be able to handle in-person ordering and will need to develop backup plans for what to do, like keeping snacks with her or order on an app for pickup. Wondered why she didn't in this instance, honestly, but maybe Wendy's doesn't have that. But you basically gave her the opportunity to conduct the transaction, waited to give her time to get the courage, and then called it when it became clear it wasn't going to happen. It's not like there isn't food at home, or being hungry for a while will harm her. Not the asshole part of being a parent is modeling and mentoring basic life skills. You offered food before you left. You had an existing framework, supported by her therapist, for ordering food in public, and you followed that. You didn't berate, you didn't shame her, you just let her choose to either function or not. If she wasn't ready, she wasn't ready. You have food at home. Would I be the asshole for filling in a man-made pond against some neighbor's wishes? For the past several years, I've owned a property in a semi-rural area.
It is part of an WA with only 12 houses over 1,000 acres, so we don't get much in each other's way.
There is a common area that abuts my property, and on it there is a pond that is fed via an irrigation head gate on a creek on my property and a cut that runs from it through my property. I've come to discover this pond is a real pain. One neighbor used to maintain it, without making a fuss, but he died.
So dealing with it fell to me, as the neighbor most affected by it.
And it's a pain. People trespass to go fishing or having their dogs swim in it.
People from outside have come to ice skate on it, totally not safe.
It has silting problems. The head gate needs to be dug out every spring, sometimes multiple times. The cut clogs up and has to be cleared.
Then a beaver took up residence and kept blocking the outflow culvert, causing a flood on neighboring farmers' land. He was rightly pissed and I got the brunt of it.
I was clearing out beaver blockages several days a week. Nobody else in the WA would help. I did some research and discovered that the water right for the head gate belonged to me alone, and not the association. Whoops. There was no easement for the irrigation cut and, cherry on the sundae, the pond is actually on my property and not common area.
Had a survey done just to be sure.
I also discovered it wasn't really a pond.
It was a hole dug up to provide fill for our road, and the original developer just routed irrigation into the hole and called it a pond. But this explains why it is such a mess. A landowner a mile away is now digging out a proper pond and he has to pay a ton to dispose of the fill, even though it is clean.
I asked if it would help if he could put some of the fill in our pond, and he offered to pay for the privilege. I have closed the head gate and started draining the pond. Some members of the WA have been yelling at me that they like the pond, just to look at as they drive out to the main road. So I said,
okay, if you like it, pay up $10,000 a year for someone to deal with the nonsense. They refused. I said that in that case the pond is getting filled in and planted with native grass. Using the money from taking the fill, they call me a selfish asshole.
Am I?
The pond is actually on my property and not common area. Had a survey done just to be sure.
Well, that puts a very different spin on this. Not the asshole. This is your property. You do with it as you wish, according to the bylaws of the WA.
Not the asshole. If it's a community pond, then the WA dues should go towards maintenance of it and not a sole homeowner.
It's not a community pond.
They don't want to treat it as such, then fill it in.
So you have to pay for the privilege of maintaining a headache that they like to look at.
You have to break your back fixing year-long issues while they literally drive on by? And you're the one who's selfish?
I really wish they would close down the Audacity warehouse. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, but in any dispute I believe that the WA is always in the wrong and has no right to exist, so take my opinion with a grain of salt.
Not the asshole. Awesome that a guy has filled dirt to get rid of and you have a hole in need of fill. Synergy.
Not the asshole. This is a simple matter of legal property rights, which it seems you've done your homework on. HOAs love bending people over the barrel when the paperwork is on their side, so maybe this time they can at least do everyone a favor and be quiet about it when they are over the barrel for once.
Am I the asshole for choosing to not wear a bracelet my stepmother and stepsisters wore to their weddings? I, 24 female, am getting married this winter. My stepmother wanted me to wear a bracelet that was handed down from her grandmother, that she and my stepsisters all wore at their weddings and that my half-sisters will likely wear at theirs, at my wedding, and have it be my something borrowed. I told her it was a really sweet offer, but I already had my something old, new, borrowed and blue taken care of. She was upset that I didn't have her help with any of that. She asked me what would represent her half of my family on my wedding day. I told her they didn't really need representing and that my step and half siblings will be there, as well as her. She told me I'm not including her whole family like I'm including my paternal and maternal sides, and that she already knows I'm wearing some stuff of my mom's and some stuff from maternal family members. She said she wanted to see me honor both moms during the wedding. I still chose not to wear it. She's upset because she married my dad when I was 9, after my mom died, and wanted me to embrace her and her family, her kids and extended family, as equally family to me as my mom and dad and maternal and paternal families. She knows I don't. But I know she wants me to take the symbol anyway. She argued a bit.
Then she told my dad, and he told me it would be extra sweet and meaningful to make my stepmother happy and show love and acceptance for my third parent and third side of my family.
Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole. Your wedding, your choice.
You had one mom that you remember and honor.
Your SM can't expect you to just ignore your mom's family and memories and wear jewelry that means nothing to you.
Nah. It is your wedding and you are free to wear what you want. But I can't help but feel for a person who seemingly accepted you and loved you like a daughter after you lost your mother, but keeps getting slapped down and reminded she's not a real mom even though she put the hard work into being a parent all those years.
No assholes here, but
maybe wear it to your rehearsal dinner,
or wear it inside your dress or bouquet. Is the bracelet so big or hideous? It sounds a bit like you are just digging in your heels to prove a point.
I'm kind of leaning towards you are the asshole. If you've had a good relationship with this woman, then I can't see why you would be so hostile towards a sweet gesture.
If it had been the other way round and you'd wanted to wear it, but she'd told you couldn't wear it because you're not family, then everyone would be up in arms.
She clearly regards you as a daughter and wants to include you in the tradition she has with her family.
However, if I've misread the situation and you've had a poor relationship and it's more of a manipulative gesture, then I'm willing to revise my judgment. No assholes here based on the info provided. You don't say that she spent your life trying to erase your mom or being overbearing about being called mom or anything else that would make accepting the bracelet particularly fraught. Just that she wants to feel symbolically included in a milestone moment for someone she considers a daughter, even if you don't consider her a mom. You obviously don't have to accept the bracelet.
I think it would be morally fine not to. Just be really clear that you're choosing to hurt your stepmom's feelings about it and she may feel pushed away. But maybe that's your goal, in which case, Yahtzee. Families are complicated and I don't know enough about yours to say that anyone is really doing anything wrong here. Not the asshole if you've never felt like she's your mom. Regardless of how good she was to you and you don't feel like you're a part of her family, then there's no need for you to honor her. It is perfectly fine for a stepmother to come into your life and just be another adult that takes care of you, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily get a motherly role. Your stepmother just needs to accept that and be happy with the relationship that you all have instead of trying to force more of a relationship on you. Am I the asshole for not defending my brother from his ex-wife?
I, 26M, have a brother, 29M, who is going through a rather nasty divorce from his wife, 30F. Right now that is completely his own fault. My sister-in-law is apparently divorcing him because she got fed up with his lack of respect for her and his relationship with our mother. I've seen what she's talking about firsthand, not just with her but in all his relationships.
For context, my brother is the golden child, especially to my mom.
My parents have always thrown me and my sister, the oldest, to the side for him and his accomplishments, and it's turned him into a giant entitled mama's boy even as a grown man.
I'm not gonna mince words. My brother's relationship to our mom is unhealthy.
He claims I just don't know what a good mother-son relationship is like, which is fair as my mother doesn't like me, but they don't have any boundaries with each other and my mom is overbearing and one of those, I'm the most important woman in my son's life, moms. She gets competitive with his girlfriends and is plain nasty to all of them. Sister-in-law was no different, she was just willing to put up with it more until she snapped after a recent incident. While he was at our parents' house, my sister-in-law texted him to discuss custody arrangements for their daughter. It devolved into an argument with him calling her all sorts of names and telling her to grow up, with my mom egging him on. The last thing she texted was, "We'll talk when you take your mom's tit out of your mouth and stop choking on her milk so you can actually act like a man," and then blocked him.
He was pissed and telling us about it and I couldn't help but laugh and I asked what he expected. He's literally at our mommy's house crying to her about it.
This really set both him and my parents off and they all yelled at me about not supporting my brother and now none of them are speaking to me. My sister sides with me and our sister-in-law but says maybe laughing at him when he's already hurting is an asshole thing to do.
Am I the asshole for not defending my brother? Nope. I would have pissed myself.
My significant other is an only child and his mother was not at all nice to me in the beginning of our relationship, but he doesn't play that and pretty much let her know her behavior would not be tolerated.
Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm not a mommy's boy. Tell them mommy. Not the asshole. I literally laughed out loud at what she said to him, and from the sounds of it, it was completely warranted, which is why it set them off so much. Nope. Not the asshole. Well done.
I wonder how he is at work.
Does he bring your mom too?
I married someone like that.
Didn't last. Divorce is bliss.
Sounds like your dad is an issue too? Not the asshole, it was pretty funny.
Maybe he should climb back into mommy's womb and cry.